Welcome to the Power 5 Sports League Proverbs podcast. This is episode number 3. I'm joined as always by Coach Norman and Coach A. This is where we break down the journey from youth sports to the pros. Whether you're a young athlete, a parent, or just a sports fan in general, this is definitely the place for you. I'm your host today, MC Mike, and I'm joined as always by two Permian Basin legends, Coach A, Coach Norman. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing great.
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Doing very well. Always blessed to be here. Always an honor to be here with you guys. So
Right.
Today we're going to be talking a little bit about patience. And one of the ironies about patience that we'll get into is that it is a skill that takes a lifetime of practice. So you need patience to perfect patience. As always, we're going to start off today with our proverb and our prayer. Coach A, you're going to lead us off today, if you don't mind.
All right. Well, let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to see another day that was not promised. Father, I just want to thank you for this platform that you allowed us to have, Father, to reach your people and to teach your word. Father, I pray that this word that we speak enter a person's heart, Father God, and allow it to just take over their mind, Father, that they can hear what we're saying. So as we go throughout this, Father, I ask that we step back and the Holy Spirit step in and have your way with this podcast. I pray this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
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 And amen.
Amen. Well said. Well said. Well, let's jump right into the proverb of today. So, Coach A, since you led us off in such a great prayer, why don't you explain and read us off the today's proverb?
All right. Today proverb is Proverb 14:29. Whoever is patient has a great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displayed folly. Patient is it's a word, and it's a gift that a lot of people want. But when you ask God to help you with your patience, you got to be careful what you ask for, because things He's going to put in front of you is going to display patience. And so it's a learning curve. You have to know what your triggers are and how to handle your triggers. And so throughout youth sports or whatever you're going through, patience is one of the things that's going to be at the top of the list. You got anything, John?
Man, absolutely, man. I think that's something that we'll get into more in today's episode. Is with the patience. But yeah, I have a whole lot of things that could that display this proverb. But reading through it, whoever is patient has great understanding.
Right.
Great understanding, that comes with being wise and having that wisdom, and having the understanding to go along with it. So we're gonna get into it more today.
Right. Yeah. So we want to give it all out front. Stay tuned. We'll explain it through the episode.
One of the cool things about patience, just in general, is that it's usually associated with some kind of a test. But our patience doesn't necessarily need a specific moment in order to be tested, right? It's always in play. And we need to understand and sort of reel ourselves back every now and then, because it can take over us. Being impatient is easy. Being patient, that's what takes the time to perfect and ultimately, build up to. But as we're set to begin today, we'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsor for today, and that sponsor is Roundup. Roundup is actually putting together a pickleball tournament, a fundraising pickleball tournament through the Power 5 Sports League. Details will be available on the Power 5 site very shortly, but we're excited about this. Coach Norman, you have anything you want to add about this event, and obviously Roundup being such an amazing organization with the 3Cs program and what it does for youth athletes off the field?
Absolutely, man. So this pickleball tournament will be the first one that we're doing, and we plan to do it annually. It'll be out at the Summit Center, which is a new facility, and this will be the first actual tournament that they'll be hosting there. This is a brand new facility, so it's pretty awesome, man. And it's connected with a park, So, people can come out and walk around the park and just see once you get out there, it's like you're not even in Midland anymore.
Leaving West Texas.
Yeah, you're leaving West Texas, but it's going to be a great deal. We expect it to have upwards of 40 teams out there playing, and we'll be starting early in the morning and lasting throughout the afternoon. And so we're looking forward to it. We're excited about it. And Roundup is a great 501c3 where we host our 3Cs program. Mm-hmm. Our 3Cs program is a curriculum that we've built out that focuses on character building, community outreach, and building life and academic champions. And with those three C's, we teach these kids and whoever else is willing to listen. These foundations, with that character building program, we focus on 6 principles of discipline, trust, respect, hard work, integrity, and accountability. And we teach these things. We tell them about what these things mean and laying that foundation, not only to be successful on the field or the court, but also in life. So we're excited about it, man. And that's a big deal that I feel like is missing in a lot of the generation today.
Right.
That last C is my favorite. It's being champions of life. It's not just champions hosting a trophy, champions of life. But sorry to cut you off, Coach.
Yeah. That's what I just wanted to add. We're a league that they want to concentrate on the betterment of the youth, understanding that we're getting older. They're going to be the ones that's going to take care of us as we get older. Yeah. So the better job that we can do, use the tool that God bless us with which is sports, and which is going to cause them to gravitate to us, but teach them how to be better citizens. That's going to help us older people, because we're the older generation now. So when we home and we don't have to worry about what's going on with the world, we can say that we helped mold those that are going to be taking over the world, pretty much.
Yep. And there's so many lessons in sports that we can apply in our day-to-day lives, right? We talk about sportsmanship, but that really is a quality that can easily be translated into your job, into your community, just being an overall good person and, just making somebody else's day a little bit better every day. It's all these different fundamentals that we learn on the field, that we're coached on the field, that we learn through our teammates, that, we're trying to highlight and, showcase through the Roundup, through the 3Cs program, and through this podcast, about how important it is to apply some of those traits and qualities in your just regular between practice life and between game life as well.
There you go. Right. Yeah.
So moving us into our first segment, we're actually going to do a little our little weekly catch up. Talk a little bit about some of the things that we've been working on this week. What we're noticing, what lessons we've learned, what we'd like to share. Coach Norman, I think it would be great if you'd lead us off on this one. What's going on this week for you?
Man, we got a lot going on this week, man. We're actually preparing for our 9v9 coming up. We're doing an evaluation this weekend, March 1st. So we're about to get that kicked off. And then we'll be also, volleyball registration. Our summer volleyball league will still be open. Our baseball, our spring baseball league is getting ready to kick off at the end of the month. So we have a lot of things going on. Also, brand new West Texas lacrosse. West Texas lacrosse. We brought in lacrosse this year. We're going to be locking that down this week, and we going into all the sports. Also with football and fall football. I guess I could announce it here, but
go with it.
Yeah, but we'll be having another chapter up in Amarillo. So we'll have an Amarillo chapter where the Amarillo Warriors and Coach Ricky Rivera is up there, and he'll be the director up there for that chapter. And it's going to be huge, man. We'll have a chapter here, the Tall City Conference, and then up there will be Route 66 Conference. That Route 66.
Not Sonic.
No. That's Route 44.
Oh, okay. Make sure we don't want to get anybody confused.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a lot of things going on, man, and it's just exciting times right now, and we looking forward to the rest of 2025.
Yeah.
It's 3 episodes in, and I feel like we've had a lifetime of updates like this for Power 5. It's really awesome to see the growth in such a short period of time, and it's a testament to all of the effort that you guys are putting forth on the ground and all the relationships that you're building, and then you're inching one step closer to starting up that hockey league that I told you need to start up. So I'm excited about that one. Coach A, what's new with you, man? How was your week? What's new in your world?
My week was good, but I just want to talk about the 9v9. There's a lot of people that are not familiar with this game. Everybody's going with 7-on-7, but like I tell everybody, 9v9 is the better game. Yep. This gives the full-figured players an opportunity to get on the field. They're the backbone of any offense or any defense. Without those guys blocking or rushing the quarterback either not going to have enough time on offense to pass the ball, or he's going to have too much time on defense to pass the ball. So 9v9 is the better sport, the better game if you're going to transition into tackle football. And so I encourage everybody to understand you have a center to quarterback exchange. The quarterback and center are working on timing. The linemen are working on stepping back blocking. The DNs are learning their rush, kick step, all of that.
Yeah.
So it's a better game versus just sitting back and being on a time constraint as far as when you need to get the ball out your hand. You have real guys that are pressuring the ball. So it's just a better game.
Yeah, and 7-on-7, it allows for the quarterback to be back there and just, no pressure on him. He just throwing darts, which is fine, but, that's what people have done for so long. But, I believe by integrating those linemen and integrating those D linemen and letting them get some work, some real work, you have these D lineman camps and D line O line camps that they have where it's called 5-on-5 or whatnot, and so those are real life situations or real game situations, and so by incorporating that with 7-on-7 and combining it all together, you just have a better game overall. Right. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Usually when somebody is asking, or looking to get into football and they don't understand the concept of the game, I always try to make them focus on the trenches rather than the ball. Because as the trenches unfold in a play, so does the play either succeed or fail, depending on what side of the ball you're on. It is a game of timing, right? So you have the blocks that have to occur at a specific point, the timing between the exchange of the quarterback and the running back. But I want to point out another important piece on 9v9. John, you mentioned the quarterback just sitting back throwing darts. It's a glorified game of catch. Obviously, there's plays and all these other things involved with it. But forget about the potential of the pressure. It's a much different throw when nobody's in front of you and you have to look over those big linemen in order to find your target, to time that pass the right way. So it's a much more realistic game-like scenario for the quarterback, which obviously improves the overall skill set, the reading of the defense, the reading of the play developing. That's, there's tremendous amount of advantages in a 9v9 setup versus a 7-on-7. My question is, what are the 2 positions that aren't included?
So the 2 positions that aren't included are really linemen. So you have your linemen, but you have 3 down linemen versus 5.
Got it. Okay.
So those are the positions. And then on the defensive side, you have 2 down linemen that's rushing, but you have more linebackers. So you'll have your linebackers out there. So it's including some linemen, but it's not the entire 11 on 11 team.
And I would assume that with less linemen, it's a little bit more of a pass-friendly type game.
Absolutely, it is it's all pass really. Now it could be modified into a run type setting, but with this being our 3rd year doing it, we've talked about doing those things and modifying the run and including the run. But when you do that, then you have to include the blitz as well. So
exactly.
I think as the more and more we progress in this game, man, we want to keep it to where it's not full contact, because it is a contact sport, especially with the linemen. They wear soft shoulder pads. And so when they're wearing those soft shell shoulder pads, they get to grab each other like they would in a real game. But it's no full on hitting and tackling and things of that nature. So, but yeah, we do want to include that. There's going to be some things that we modify, in the future as we move forward.
We talk a lot about the importance of fundamentals, right? And it sounds like this game focuses a lot on footwork. You mentioned the handwork with the linemen, the timing between a quarterback and a center exchange, and then obviously the receivers. This is a game to sharpen those fundamental skills as you start heading into the fall game, which obviously requires a little bit more on the physicality, and then of course a little bit more on the team side. Incorporating things like different defensive schemes, blitzes, running games, RPOs, whatever the offense may throw at you. So if you haven't checked out the 9v9, make your way out to a game at least once throughout the spring. You'll see exactly how much fun and, informative these games are, and, what it can do to sharpen your skill set as an overall player. Again, regardless on the position you play, it's not position specific.
Right.
Coach A, you have anything else you want to add to that?
No, John summed it up. Again, it is a better game.
Definitely. All right. Well, if that's the case, we're going to move ourselves into our first sports trivia, and this is always a fun one for me. So we're going to hit pause. All right. This one is going out to Coach A. You get the first dibs at the sports trivia this week. And the question is, what is the fastest growing sport in North America? And I'll give you a hint, it's not figure skating.
Oh, you got jokes, MC Mike.
It's not figure skating.
The fastest. Now, are you talking about as far as like speed, running, or just the fast? It itself that's growing.
The highest rate of growth and popularity in North America.
I think I know this one.
See, it's it has to do with something that we doing.
You're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. You know what it is? Hey, well, give this to John and I'll take the next one.
Don't.
You're not even gonna guess?
Don't give it to me.
Yeah.
You gotta guess something.
Arm wrestling.
This boy said arm wrestling.
Over the top, baby.
Hey, man.
You remember that, huh?
Hey,
it's arm wrestling. You hadn't seen those dudes? No?
Hey, that was a good show, but I don't think that's the fastest growing sport in America. At all.
Coach Norman?
No, wait. No. I'm sorry. It has to be flag football because it's going into the Olympics.
That's a really, really good guess, but unfortunately, it's not the case.
That's not the case.
Man.
Coach Norman, you want to take a stab at it?
Well, I think this is a trick question, to be honest with you, because it's like Coach A just said. It's probably something that we're doing.
We already said lacrosse.
I know we already said that one, so that can't be the answer. That's why I think it's a trick question. But I'm thinking the fastest growing sport in North America right now is soccer. That's what
again.
We don't have soccer.
I know we don't,
but we don't have arm wrestling too. But I tell you,
very good guess. But we're going to have to.
Wow.
It's pickleball.
Man, come on. Okay, so I got a story about pickleball.
Please.
And it better be the right one.
It is the right one.
Okay.
It's always the right one. So pickleball, we actually went to Texas Tech University back in 97 through 2000. And we were taking a class, and it was a racket class, where we played different sports.
Wait, that don't sound right.
That is right.
Athletes playing a racket,
we had
racket class?
Yeah, we had to take that in that class that went into our degree.
Okay.
So we had to take a racket class, and we had to we played different sports. We learned different sports, badminton and all of these type of different sports. Yeah, boom ball, all of that. And pickleball was one of those sports that we learned. It was a paddle sport. We learned that sport and we loved it so much. Like even after that period in that class was over, we continued to play it all the time. We were playing pickleball all the time in the rec center and all of that. And then, you know, after leaving college, you know, it kind of went away for a while. So here it is 20 years later.
Yeah.
And it's the fastest growing sport in North America.
I like to say we had something to do with that. Although I was whooping his face.
Nah.
Hey, man, I had him.
Nah.
Hey, he was running back and forth, back and forth. He was skinny. I ran that fat off of him, boy.
Competition is as old as your college days, huh?
At that time, I was about 195, and I was built like a Roman goddess. God. Pause. God. God.
Goddess. Boy. Hey.
Hey, man.
Hey. Blow the whistle.
We're gonna have a very extensive blooper reel for this show. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in North America, and obviously it translates to our Roundup fundraiser that's going to be taking place on June 7th in Midland. More details again to come on the Power 5 website with that one. So with that, we're actually going to move into our athlete spotlight of the week, and this is always a great segment. You know, this week we're focusing on a young man who is from the Greenwood area.
The Wood.
Young man, Layton Adams. So Layton is 9 years old, from Greenwood, Texas. He represents the Greenwood Rangers. We want to make sure that's clear because Greenwood has a couple teams, and from what I hear, the rivalry is as bitter and as fierce as Coach A's beard. He plays quarterback. He plays quarterback and safety. Yeah. And he also runs track for the GNS track squad. So I'm very, very excited to hear about this young man. Coach Norman, you want to lead us off? What do you know about him? Obviously, you coached him in track. You've seen him, you know, sort of develop in the small school division, Greenwood Rangers. How is he? What does he do? What is his strengths? What's his character like? Talk to us about this young man.
Man, you know, I think we see a trend out here, but the first thing that comes to mind is speed. You know, speed. This kid is fast, man. He's fast on he's not just fast on the field. You know, some people have speed, and they call it football speed. You know, it's some players out there that have football speed, where they're fast on the field, but then, you know, when they get on the track or something like that, they're not as fast.
Right.
But this kid right here, man, is blazing on both of them. You know, I believe he participated in the 100 meters, the 400, and he did really well. He did well for us this past year with GNS, which is the Go Norm Soul Steppers. Go Norm Soul Steppers is our track club that we do in the summer. We participate in AAU and USATF, and also the Texas the Texas State track meet as well. But yeah, Layton did really well. He did really well. He won a lot of, as you can see here on the picture, you got his medals up there, so you can tell he was in the top in everything that he participated in.
Well, you brought up speed. Let's take a look and see what that speed looks like both on the track and on the field. And then, Coach A, we're going to jump to you to see what your thoughts are after seeing these highlights here.
Let's see what you got. Take off my hater. Ooh, look.
So Layton is in the middle.
Elbows locked at 90, swinging from the shoulders, thinking hip to cheek.
Finishing through.
Running through.
Yes, sir.
Now this is one of my favorite clips that we've shown, or at least went through so far in this show. Mostly because it's on the defensive side of the ball, but we talk about patience being the theme of today. Patience, reading the quarterback's eyes, getting under that ball and waiting for the ball, catching it at the highest point. But look at the patience and understanding where the tackles are coming from as he starts bouncing it around. So, Coach A, what's your take after seeing something like this? You watch film on a kid like this. What do you have to do to stop him?
Man, I don't know where to start. Like, there's nowhere. Just looking at him playing safety, and one thing that you have to be as a safety, he's catching the ball going downhill, which means he saw the ball, he understands angles, and I can just imagine he plays baseball. He catches the ball at the highest point, and his momentum's taking him through. But it's one thing with catching the ball, intercepting. It's another thing to return it. And once the ball gets in your hand, you become as dangerous as possible. And this is what he's doing. And he's able to reverse field several times. So that's hard to run, reverse field, your legs getting tired. But all I can say is that's due to the track.
Yeah, having that
foundation,
that endurance,
yes,
and that foundation, and and he also plays quarterback as well. So playing both ways, playing quarterback and safety, and that's just a testament to his to his stick-wittedness of all of these different sports and stuff. Not just playing one sport, not just playing one position. Playing. Being a multi-sport athlete, multi-position athlete. I mean, this is a kid. I like to call him one of those Hall of Fame kids.
Well, nice.
When you're that dangerous on both sides of the ball, I mean, the Canton future is definitely in the picture. What I took out of that, at least the interception return, was a number of things, and it alluded to what both you guys had mentioned. So yes, there's a lot of skills that are associated within track, right? You have the acceleration, you have the stamina, but in my head, when I'm watching something like this, it's the smarts that he understands most of all. He understands the angles that the defenders are taking, and he understands his speed. So he understands what level he has to actually run downhill at in order to break it beyond the ability for the tacklers to catch up to him. Now, he didn't take it to the house. Obviously, he ran at least 130 yards on that return, bouncing east to west. But nonetheless, you can tell that just in that one highlight alone, that one clip, he is something special. He understands, obviously the offensive side of the ball being the quarterback, which is hard as it is, but to understand it as a safety as well, that's very impressive. So, all right, well, we're gonna get into our questions for Layton. This is always a fun part as well, and see what his responses were. So, our first question: what is your favorite part about playing in the Power 5 Sports League? And his response: getting to play with classmates and playing competition from other places. So I read something like this, and number one, he's having fun with his friends. That's the first thing I get out of it. He's there to have a blast. He's there to have fun. And that's always the most important fundamental piece in order to make sure that you excel at what you enjoy doing. But he also enjoys the competition. Competition is important. Again, nobody likes playing Madden on rookie mode. You want that. You want the ability and that push that makes you want to be your very best on every single play. Coach A, when you read an answer like this, we talk a lot about, character in these types of segments when we talk about these young men's answers. What do you get out of this type of response with respect to a question as, what they get out of a league that you guys are both building here?
Getting to play with classmates. He understands what unity is, what family is. And the good thing about Layton and his classmates, they're in a unique position where they can play with each other all the way up into high school. And that's just building a relationship where they know each other, a better bond. And not only are they able to do that, when we talk about competition from other places, again, the unique situation that they're in, they're playing schools that they play in high school. And so it's also a high school rivalry, and it's also a Power 5 rivalry as well. And these kids, they go all out. Like they believe, like, hey, if you beat us this year, we'll see you next year. And this is an ongoing battle and all the way up to high school. So just him understanding that how important unity is, family, like that's huge. He'll be successful in life.
Well, you guys are both living proof of how this goes well beyond high school, right? I mean, you guys played sports throughout and up through high school, and then you ended up playing at college together, and now you're running a sports league together. You know, these are the fundamentals, again, that we talk about behind the scenes, that root, that nucleus of a character that allows you to sort of excel in different aspects of life that are either on or off the field, and obviously do it with the people that you love and you care most about by your side the whole time. Coach Norman, what do you think about this type of response from this young man?
Man, what I look at when I'm reading this answer, I'm looking at the playing competition from other places. Not only in football, but also in track. When we do summer track, you know, especially at our AAU event that we have every year in Odessa at Ratliff Stadium, you know, we get teams coming down from Fort Worth, you know, the Metroplex area, Dallas area, and things of that nature, coming here to participate to run track, and it's a different animal when you have when you have these guys and girls coming down from these larger cities and being able to compete against them. I mean, you really see where you stack up against competition throughout the nation. And we've had some great track runners. You know, we had another kid that made it to nationals. He didn't get to go, but he made it to he qualified for nationals, and that's a pretty huge deal. You know, coming from small town Midland, which I don't think is small anymore. But anyway, but yeah, being able to compete against those different cities and things of that nature in track. I mean, I don't think that answer just stayed with football. Yeah. You know, I think it's across the board, and I think that's what we're trying to provide for these kids. You know, one thing, you know, Coach A says all the time is we're the league of opportunities, and I believe we're giving these kids those opportunities and being able to go out there and compete, and I love it.
Relays aside, track is usually a very individually accomplished type sport. It makes you dig deep down inside and really compete against the guy in the mirror before anybody else. But when you do lace them up, when you do hit that track, it is you and several others that are obviously racing to that line. But in your head, mentally, you have one goal, and that's to beat you from last time. If you do that, you consistently improve. And again, we talk about patience. Running is not something that you can, basically be good at overnight. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes practice. It takes dedication. It takes effort, and it takes that drive. And I think that drive is really what we're seeing, at least from this young man, just on the track, on the field, having the ability to be that leader as a quarterback, having the ability to be that safety net as a safety. Right. And then, of course, we saw him win that 100-meter dash, pretty much the whole way. I mean, I would think it's safe to say that he was in the lead pretty much from the beginning. So, in his mind, he was racing against himself that whole time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah, and he was able to finish through it on it as well. Yeah, that patience is huge, man. We gotta a lot of times, we have parents and coaches that we expect these kids to get a D1 scholarship at age 8 or age 9, and it's really not that. That's not how it happens. No colleges are out there giving out scholarships to these kids that are excelling at these young ages. Right. Everybody grows in a different manner. Some kids mature faster, some slower, and when they get the older and older they get, and we've talked about this before, the older and older they get, the more competition they're going to have, because you got all these other kids coming into their age. The puberty aspect of it. Kids, they reach that point at different times, and so that patience, it's like the old saying, patience is a virtue. You know, they just have to, continue to put in the work. Continue. If they are the one that is lacking at a certain age, continue to put that work in.
Right.
Prepare yourself. Continue to put that work in and prepare yourself. Abraham Lincoln had a saying where he said that if I prepare myself, perhaps my time will come. Well, Coach Norman is going to tell you, because I learned something else from Myron Golden, who said, your time is going to come whether you like it or not. So you might as well be prepared.
Yeah.
So you got to prepare yourself, and then so when that time comes, have that patience, prepare yourself. When that time comes, then you'll be able to walk through that door with your head held high and be successful.
I feel like that message is for parents too, especially on the patient side. Like you said, you're not getting that D1 scholarship. You're not getting that first round draft pick at 9 years old. So you need to understand that you need to be supportive. You need to be able to provide the tools and the motivation to have your young athlete excel. And then, of course, provide that opportunity through practices, through training, through off the team and off the field drills. It's easy to sit in front of a TV. It takes a lot to go to a park with a ball and throw it around for a little bit. So these are the types of things that we talk about with respect to patience. It is a virtue for sure, but I'm going to move us into the next question, because this is probably one of my favorite answers that we've seen so far. And we asked them, if you could play with any professional athlete for a day, who would it be and why? And we talk about speed and we talk about his ability with track. I mean, who better to want to play with than the cheetah himself? His answer was Tyreek Hill. I would play football with him. So he and I would face him and throw balls to him. So he's not even talking about competing. He wants to be the quarterback that throws him the balls.
Just go out there and play with it. Let me throw it to him. Let me see if I can get it on out there before the cheetah run the whole field.
So he has to have confidence in himself in order to do something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is a professional athlete that, at least in modern football, we have. It's as rare as a unicorn as you can get at the speed level. You're talking about somebody who can literally be in full stride in 2 steps, be at full acceleration in 3, cut, stop, and then be at that re-acceleration in a matter of steps as well. Very difficult to defend. Monster at speed. Coach A, what's your take on this type of answer? I mean, obviously we saw some clips. We saw it on the field and on the track. I mean, I love this answer considering everything we're discussing about Layton right now.
I mean, not putting anything in Layton's mouth, but I think when he sees Tyreek Hill, he doesn't see a huge man. He sees someone that has put in hard work and understand that his speed was a great equalizer to all the other players. And hence why Layton comes out and runs track. He understands how important track is. He understands how important speed is. But just for him to also just want to have the confidence to go out and throw routes with him, and he may be able to teach him something that he never, as far as a receiver, look how I do this, look how I do that. But again, just him seeing Tyreek Hill and understanding the speed that he possesses, I can see why Layton would answer this.
Coach Norman, anything to add about the cheetah?
Nah, man. Coach A said it all. Tyreek Hill. He ran track as well. So and won a lot. So that's a perfect person to pattern yourself after. If those are the things that you're doing. Running track, playing football, all of those things. So yeah, man. That was a great answer. I wouldn't expect anything less. Right.
Well, here's a surprising one. We talk a lot about speed and we talk a lot about the importance of speed, not just on the field, but with track. Obviously, that's the name of the sport itself. But when we asked Layton, what superpower would you want to have on the field or the court? The response was quite shocking. He actually said super strength. Now, this could be interpreted in a number of different ways. Obviously, strength is a complementary skill set that's of equal importance in most sports to speed. But is this, again, a young man who identifies that he does have, somewhat of a super strength in speed already, and now he just wants to excel in a different area? Coach Norman, you're nodding. What is your take on this?
No, that's exactly what I took from that, man. I feel like this kid already has that confidence and understands he's fast, and has that speed. And not that he's not going to continue to work on that, but, he has that speed already. And so one thing he would want is some super strength. And you put some super strength with some super speed.
What you got?
You got some super speed.
Ooh.
Super speed.
Ooh. Boy, you crazy.
So yeah, hey man, but that's a great answer, man. That super strength, because just think about it. Just in that play that we saw when he made that interception, if he had some super strength along with that speed, he would have broke through them tackles and then ended up scoring. So,
a lot to ask. Coach A, what's your take on that one, man?
Super strength, and Layton understands this is important because this young man at his age runs the 400 meter. And if anybody that runs track understands what that 400 meter does to the body, and you need super strength to get through that. This is an event, if you own the mile relay, at the end of the race, the coach needs somebody. People on your team will go and hide.
Yeah, they running.
I've done it.
Running to the bathroom.
Run on the bus, hide, so that you won't have to run that race. But for him to do this at such a young age, he understands that he's going to need the super strength to get through some things.
Yeah. No, that's a great point.
So,
that's a great point.
I'm telling you, that is a great answer. And I understand why he chose it by the race that he runs in summer track. Nobody wants to run the 400. That's a
man. That's crazy,
race.
Man. We used to run the 400 in high school. We ran on the mile relay together. Antoine and I, Coach A and I, and our freshman and sophomore year. Those are the times he was talking about. We was running to the bus, hide because we didn't want to run that race, man. And I don't know what it was that clicked our junior year. I think it was because Coach made us run it because we were good at it, and we ended up losing in the regionals and not making it to state. But I think that motivated us to where our senior year, like we actually left basketball early to go train.
Yeah, we did. Sorry, Coach House.
To go train for track, man, and but we ended up, going to state and getting third place in state. Yeah. And shoot, we took 5 people to state and almost won the whole thing. We lost by 2 points with those 5 people that we took to state, And that that mile relay, boy, that quarter, man, I think that's why it's the last race, the last event at the track meets, man, because that's a tough race right there.
You gotta get off. You're gonna get on your back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys talk about the dedication and obviously training on your own, and forgive the basketball coach, but when it comes to being a supporter, this is a question we've asked a couple times here. Who is the biggest supporter when you play a game, and what do they do to help you out? And it's always nice and encouraging when an athlete of this skill set brings up a family member. And Coach A, you're usually the best one to provide the responses when it comes to family support and the nucleus at home being where it all begins. My peepaw, is that how you say it? Pawpaw.
Yeah.
My pawpaw, because he comes to every game and he pushes me. Right. Coach A, what's your thoughts when you see an answer like this, again, from a young man talking about family being the nucleus of his support?
Well, especially him talking about his grandfather coming to watch him. His grandfather's generation, his father is one, and he's one. So you're looking at 3 generations. And, of course, Layton is going to make his father proud, but he also has an opportunity to make his grandfather, just his presence alone. So that's why it's so important that parents are involved in our kids' activity, not to pressure, but to be a positive support. You have some parents that come out there and they pressure their kids, don't have the patience to allow them to develop because they see everybody else moving faster than their child. Understand that that's not your child. And so having the patience, building that relationship, and just wanting to make his grandfather proud in anything he does. And I'm pretty sure whether he win a game or loses a game or make a bad play, his pawpaw is going to be there. It's like, hey, I love watching you play, because that was true for me. Playing up at Tech, my grandfather would always whistle here at when we played at Lee. And I got so keen in hearing that whistle. When we went up to Tech, he would whistle, and amongst all that whole crowd, I hear that whistle, and I would look, and I would find him. He never told me, "Great game," and you done this. I seen you. It was just his presence, right? And again, with the support of his, he said his parents as well. No, every game he pushes him. So there's positive reinforcement there. There's support there. There's not, you should have done this. You should have done that. No, be that parent, be that grandparent that carries the helmet and the shoulder pads off of the field and giving your child a pat on the back. Because you just don't understand, that goes a mile. That goes light years.
Yeah.
Coach Norman?
Yeah, man, just to piggyback on that, one thing that Coach A said that stood out to me a little bit is, them having that positive reinforcement. Now, I also believe that, there are times when, you have to make corrections and
Tighten it up a little bit.
come with the criticism or whatnot, and not so much criticism, but just correction, I guess you would say, because you want to teach them that it's going to be things that they're going to need corrected, and everything is just not going to be roses and pretty, so it's times when you need that correction, but that positive reinforcement goes a long way, man, and it also keeps these kids engaged. It's a deal called burnout, and when you constantly on a kid and staying on them every time and no positive reinforcement, no positive anything, they get burnt out. And a lot of coaches and parents, but a lot of coaches can make kids quit at an early age where they don't want to, they don't want to continue on, where they could have been, some superstars later on down the road, so I think it just plays into, our topic for the day of that patience, man. Right. Having that patience to support them and just being patient enough to be ready for when that time comes, and they are ready, and then they'll be successful.
We talk about the fundamentals and we talk about family, obviously support, but the reality is that sports is such a teachable activity. There's, you can win a game 52-0, and there's still teachable moments. There's still corrections that could be made. And the support, again, from the sidelines as well as from the stands and at home, this is what we need to constantly promote as that teachable type of experience. Have the patience that maybe they're not going to get it the first time. Maybe they're not going to get it the second time. Maybe they're going to get stomped in their face the third time. But that fourth time, they're going to think about all those other moments where they failed and pick themselves up and succeed after that point. So it is a critical piece that we stress very hard on this show. The family values, the ability to support your young athlete. And then on the other side, the ability for the young athlete to accept that support, understand that there is a goal that is attainable, that maybe you just don't quite understand yet, but you got to keep with it and keep understanding that everything is happening here for a reason for you.
Right.
So speaking of lessons, the final question we ask, what's the most important lesson you've learned from playing sports? And the response, it has taught me to work hard and to be a great teammate and leader.
Yeah.
9 years old, gentlemen. What can you take from a response like this at 9?
Shoot, the first thing I take from it is, like we talked about earlier, those 3 C's, that character building. Working hard is one of those character principles that we talk about. Knowing that we're instilling this in this next generation, we're instilling these characteristics in the next generation, And not only us, but it's a testament to his family at home. You know, they're instilling that hard work in him. I believe his dad is one of the head coaches. His dad is the head coach of their football team, and so he's out there, you know, instilling that hard work, that work ethic in him, and being a great teammate and leader. A lot of people don't understand, man. Being a great teammate, boy, that go a long way, man.
Yeah.
Because you can be the best player out there on the field, and if you're not a great teammate, man, it's like fighting with your family. You know, it happens, but you don't want it. You don't want it to continue on. You know, and so yeah, man, just that's a great answer, man, and you know, I applaud him for wanting to work hard, be a great teammate, and be a leader out there on the field.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to move us into our next sports trivia. We're going to hit timeout here, and this one is actually going to go out to Coach Norman. And I had a really hard one for this one because I knew it was going to be for you, but I decided to change it last minute, make it a little bit interesting.
Well, give me the hard one. I think I know. I'm on you.
He said, I'm on
Okay.
So give him.
So we talk about Layton being a multi, or I guess both sides of the ball type player, right?
Right.
He does play the safety position on the defensive side of the ball. So, Coach Norman, what was the original name of the safety position?
The original name?
The original name of the position.
It has to be defensive back.
Coach A?
Lifeguard.
Close. It's a goaltend.
A goal team?
This is not soccer.
Oh, you meant football.
No. It was a safety man and a goaltend. That was the original name. But do you want to have a little fun? Do you want me to say the one that I was going to say and see if you guys can get it?
Yeah.
Because this is a really interesting one. So there is who is the only player to lead the NFL in passing, punting, and interceptions in the same season?
Passing,
Warren Moon.
punting,
Warren Moon.
and interceptions. Throwing interceptions or
Warren Moon.
intercepting?
Intercepting.
No.
He played quarterback.
Okay, that's your answer. Is that your final answer?
No, it has to do with some of Black History Month. It's a black quarterback, son. Doug Williams.
No.
Warren Moon?
Okay.
It's Warren Moon.
In passing, punting, and interceptions.
Which is rare.
That's very rare. Like, this has to be
I mean, to hold that stat in high school where you're probably going to play multiple positions is virtually hard. But to do that at the professional level, I mean, obviously we're talking about an older player, right? We're talking about a different era of football.
So we're talking about like pre-NFL.
Pre-merger, yes, but it was an NFL team. So the answer is Sammy Baugh. And he played for the Redskins in 1943. But here's the interesting statistics. So he set 13 NFL records in 3 player positions, right? He was a punter, he was a safety, and he was a quarterback. He's considered one of the best all-around players of all time. 2 of his records still stand today. The most seasons leading the league in passing, which is 6, and the most seasons leading the league in the lowest interception percentage, which is 5. He, as a safety, he was the first player in league history with 4 interceptions in a game. That record still stands today, but it was matched. And again, he played those 3 positions. I think he won the Super Bowl, or not the Super Bowl. He won the NFL championship with the Redskins. He won the league MVP. He was just an all-around incredible player, multiple positions, multiple disciplines. I'm curious if he is the definition of super speed and super strength.
Right.
And super strength.
They don't make them like that anymore.
He got to be in the Hall of Fame, huh?
Oh, first ballot for sure. You hold those types of statistics, those types of records. I mean, again, we're talking about an era where this guy had to go to war and then come back and do all this.
Yeah.
It's a different time frame.
Hitting somebody ain't nothing.
Yeah, that wasn't nothing to him.
Yeah. Wow.
Different time spot. So,
Warren
all
Moon
right.
was a good choice.
Yes, Warren Moon. A lot of people don't understand what he brought to the game. Multiple games, actually. I mean, he was a CFL legend as well. Canadian. Shout out to John's Canadian football. But yeah, Houston Oiler, right? I mean, that was Warren's claim to fame. Didn't he play for Seattle too? Or am I thinking of someone else?
In his later years.
He did, right?
Yeah, right before he retired. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so that being said, we're going to move into our third segment, and we're going to talk about our coach's tip of the week. And Coach Norman, I believe this one's on you. What's our takeaway for the week? What do you want to leave these athletes to think about and work on?
Man, so we got the tip of the week this week. It relates to our verse on patience. So the tip of the week is stretching. Stretching is one of the most important aspects when training. When you're out there stretching, a lot of times you'll see guys going through the motions, just saying, counting to 10 or whatever it may be, man. But I think people ought to take pride in stretching, regardless of the sport that you're doing.
Right.
But that stretching that you're doing at the beginning of practice, and sometimes that they do at the end of practice, that's what we do in track. We do a cool down stretch. So stretching is very important, and you got to know the different types of stretches. You have dynamic stretches, you have static stretches. Right. Dynamic means movement, so you have movement within your stretches. Static stretches is you're being still and you're stretching. So I think it's very important to be stretching, not just going through the motions, because that's when you get hurt. You get out there and you get to going at full speed at some point, and you end up hurting yourself. So but stretching, making sure those muscles are stretched out and warmed up and things of that nature, I think is very important. So that's my tip of the week. Be patient and go through the stretches and make sure you're stretching right.
It definitely requires patience for sure, because that is one of the obligations when it comes to playing sports, right? You have that long training session on the track, you have those long two a day practices on the field, and then sometimes it's easy just to sit down and be lazy. But if you stretch it out, it makes your next day that much more better. You feel better, you perform better. Coach A, what's your take on what Coach Norman's tip is this week? Anything you want to add to that?
Man, that is important, especially now that we're in track season. Stretching, that's part of your warm up. Be obedient to what you're supposed to do and not try to get ready right before your race. You should already be visualizing. You should already be tuning your body up and ready to go into an event and use your body in a violent way. Right? So stretch. It's that simple. And if you want to grow, I think that you should stretch so your muscles are not contracted all the time and allow your growth plates to grow. So
that's why I'm so short.
I'm glad, and to add to that, man, I'm glad that I'm in a position now to where we can teach these kids these things, man. Because I remember I used to hate stretching.
Right.
Like I go through the motions all the time, man. We just be sitting there and I lean over, and then coach will walk by and I lean over a little more, So we've seen it all. We've done it. We used to do it. We've seen it all, man. So, but it's very vital. It's a very important. I think it's not talked about enough, to be honest with you. But it's a very vital and important aspect of training and competition and everything that you're going to be doing out there on the field.
We see a lot of yoga and Pilates being incorporated into some of the strength and conditioning programs for athletes now, and there's a reason for that, right? So, amazing tip of the week, and I think that if we can expand on that a little bit throughout these segments, just different tips on how to stretch, I think that's going to be an important piece as well. But that being said, I'm going to take us into our 2-minute warning. And for this one, we're going to break down the final thoughts. Coach A, we're going to start with you. What's your takeaway from today's episode? What do you want to leave off during this 2-minute drill?
Well, mine is really focusing on the parents with our Proverbs, talking about patience. Understand that your child is not going to be at the level of his friends or your friends. Be patient and allow them to develop. Give them positive reinforcement, no pressure. Allow them to be kids. Keep the game fun so that they won't have that burnout that Coach Norman is always talking about. So again, be patient. Just like reading, you just don't give them a book. You allow them to take baby steps. Writing, they just don't start writing in cursive. They don't do that anymore. But there's small steps they have to take in order to get to the end result. So be patient.
Coach Norman?
That's a great take, man. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk to the athletes. Talking to these kids, man. Be patient, man. Put the work in, but be patient with where you're trying to go, your end goals. Don't think it's gonna happen overnight. You see these players like Tyreek Hill and all of these guys that are professional athletes or whatnot. They put that work in.
Yes,
and
they do.
It didn't happen overnight. They were patient, but they put that work in. They were working hard, going out there every day, not giving up, not quitting. They had people talk down to them, or you too small, or you too slow, or you not strong enough.
Yeah.
All of these things, man. To these kids, have that patience and know that the work that you put in, that preparation that you have, your time will come.
And when your number's called, you better be ready.
Yeah. Be ready. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Beautiful. Well, that's going to wrap up our show for today. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, drop in some comments. We want to hear your thoughts on everything. Let us know what your take is on Layton, both teammates and competitors, whether you played against him. What are some of the things that you noticed about the way he performs? I mean, obviously we try to do this on a weekly basis. We're going to be dropping out some of this content on a weekly basis. Couple housekeeping items. The spring baseball registration is currently open. Volleyball is out there. We have a lot of actions and a lot of things happening within the Power 5 ecosystem. Fall football is expanding. Coach Norman, disclosed the new conference that's happening. We talked last episode about the championship game being played at Texas Tech Stadium at the Jones. So many exciting and unbelievable developments that are occurring within the Power 5 system. Gentlemen, final thoughts before we part ways till next episode?
I got something. We didn't talk about Layton's haircut. that business in the front and party in the back. And I like to tell you, Layton, I used to have that same cut.
Wow.
But I was so fast, it just ran off.
It patiently left.
A sailfish is the fastest in the ocean because it has a little sail that it can maneuver with, right? So
there you go.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget about the pickleball fundraiser coming up in June.
Yeah.
We got some great things going on in the summertime as well. So get out there and go play that pickleball and donate. All our sponsors. We appreciate all our sponsors and everything for all the donations. So. Yeah, we got that going on as well.
And if you're interested in sponsoring or being a part of the Power 5 Sports League in the Midland area, national level, reach out to Coach Norman, Coach A, through the website, power5sportsleague.org. We'll be more than happy to set up a meeting and, see how we can fit you into what we're building here. So appreciate you guys as always. Till next episode.
Keep on pushing.
KOP.